Good morning. It's morning coffee. It's Wednesday, midweek. Want to continue the conversation around attachment styles because I think this is really important as we think about how we love other people and how we can be loved in the world. We need to understand how people are functioning and why they're functioning in these different ways. And that really can go a long way to helping you be a loving person, because understanding the way different people attach in relationships and such will help you navigate the concept of being kind and compassionate and gentle and those sorts of things, which are necessary if we're going to be love in the world towards other people. So what I wanted to do was just read through a few different aspects of what is an avoidant person. So you remember we had the 4 attachment styles: secure, anxious, avoidant or dismissive, and then there's the disorganized. We can talk about that tomorrow. But with the avoidant attachment individual, these people have learned that caregivers or people who say they're there for you cannot be relied on. They've probably had a parent or caregiver that didn't show concern or responsiveness beyond providing the basic essentials. And so they weren't observably bad parents. So you have to understand this, and sometimes it's hard for people to wrap their mind around this. Well, my parents were good. They provided a beautiful home. We had family dinners, this and that and the other. Well, beyond those essentials, when you were struggling, when you needed emotional connection, intimacy, ability to talk deep into the feelings and share when you were uncomfortable and all of these things that we go through, that was missing. That was not someplace that we went. So these folks have the tendency to be incredibly independent, self-directed. They're uncomfortable with intimacy. If things get too heated up, they prefer at the surface level. I'm good at the surface level, but if you want to take this deep, I can't go there with you. We're not the same. They can be paranoid about being controlled or boxed in. The thing that's interesting around these people is their lifestyle is constructed as such to help them avoid those deep connections. They have 80-hour work weeks maybe, or they have so many friends and so many activities. They'll fit you in over here, but if you want more than that, then it becomes a struggle. They always have an exit strategy because they anticipate that this too shall end. So again, these are going to be very high confidence people, but low with their emotional expression and warmth. Men are more often than not avoidant attachment styles. And the other thing to realize is that the avoidant attached person is probably going to be the one controlling the relationship. We know, unfortunately, in relationships, they're controlled by the person who cares the least. And so if you're an anxious attachment style person, you can end up in this situation, and it's very tenable. You can't untenable. You can't balance it because they're trying to escape and you're trying to push in, and it's just this runner chaser, if you will. I'm trying to get away from you, but you're trying to love me, and I don't want it. It's just creates an incredible amount of tension in the relationship. These folks do better with somebody who's securely attached, because the secure attached person isn't going to get too concerned with the lifestyle of the avoidant attached person. They come off being very sociable. These people appear in the world as very sociable and very easygoing. They have lots of friends. They have lots of connections and that sort of thing. But here's the thing. They remain at the surface level only. They close themselves off in relationships, and they begin to look for reasons to end things. My last relation last year was an individual who was avoidant, who had this attachment style. Things are very heated at the beginning and very intense and very comfortable. If you're an anxious attachment type person, which is where I come from, I've worked tremendously to pull myself into more of a secure space, but my tendencies can be that anxious attachment. So the way they come on in the beginning can make you feel like this is perfect. This is wonderful for me. I feel comfortable, until they get uncomfortable, and then they shut down and they back off and they start making excuses. This guy said to me, well, I don't think people with different education backgrounds can be together, which is really quite ridiculous. But okay. And today, the gal he went and threw me off over the cliff over is also just as highly educated as I am. And so it's like, no, that's not your problem. Your problem is that after we were together for about 6 months, 6 months, it was uncomfortable, because now you start to get into those deeper conversations. You start to have those more intimate conversations. Intimacy sexually, not a problem for these people. They can be sexually intimate, but they're also very disengaged. They're going to tell you they're in love, and they might feel loving emotions. But when it comes time to actually love others, to be kind and patient and compassionate and slow to anger and protective, especially protective of other people, no, that's not happening. I got to take care of me. So it's a difficult thing for them. They can fix this, though, by really diving into seeing, what am I feeling right now? What is the need here? And learning how to understand how to dig into a relationship and be close with other people. When you have an avoidant attachment, you don't trust anyone to follow through, to be present. And from that angle, it's somewhat similar to the anxious avoidant. You don't trust that people are going to be there for you. The dichotomy here is the anxious avoidant gets clingy, and the avoidant dismissive attachment is going to be backing up. No, I'm not getting close because people will leave. That's it. That's all there is to it. I'm not doing it. I've seen this before, kind of thing. So they will really struggle in trying to bring that around. They're going to have to want to. They're going to have to. The pain of their relationships is going to have to be so incredibly difficult for them that they finally decide, I need to work on this. And then they will. But until then, they will continue to cycle through these things. Meet somebody, have an intense connection. Things are 4 to 6 months down the road. I don't know what's wrong with me. I don't know. I just feel like I just feel sad. I don't have any joy. And the reason is because it's getting too hot. It's getting too deep for them, and they need to get back to the surface. They thrive in the surface friendships, in the surface relationships, and that's what they can make work. But if you're asking for some deep, heartfelt conversations, you're asking them to be introspective, you're asking for these things, you're not going to get that until these individuals figure out for themselves that they need that connection. So again, we say, how do you fix this? The thing that we have to understand in these relationships is you're not fixing other people. They have to fix themselves. You can hold space for them. You can encourage them. In this relationship with this gentleman, I would have been happy to have sat and held space for him to help work through these things. It would have probably been very rocky for a few months. We're close, we're not close. We're close, we're not close. I need to leave. His last words to me. When I said, I can go, I don't need to be involved here. I'll be okay. Were, and rushed in. No, I love you. I need you. I can't lose you. That was the unconscious speaking and overriding the self and saying, no, I need this. And that's where they're sitting. I need this. I want this. But I don't trust it. And so then they turn away and they leave. And so in being love, we who are not in that attachment style need to understand it. We need to see it. We need to be aware. Because if you have that in your friends, your family, your loved one, your loving partners, you're going to have a lot of work ahead of you. We all have a lot of work ahead of us, but there's a lot to say about that for an avoidant attachment. I have several people in my life who are avoidant attached people. One of them is one of my, probably if I'm honest, two of my children. And I see the one very, 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 very busy. And I said to them, well, I think that this is an avoidance. If I'm super, super busy, then I don't have time for these deeper things. I don't have time to let in the questions and the wonderings and stuff because those are painful. And, what can you do? I suppose, we acknowledge that it exists and then we continue to love these people. And when they become avoidant, then we sit in that space where I don't want you to go, but I'm okay with you. You gotta be constantly reassuring these people too, but not up close from a distance. The affection, a hug, a handhold, a smile, a warmth, creating that security, and it's challenging because if you're not in just a secure space, it's a great place to be in a secured attachment. But if you're not in that space, which most of us don't come out of families that lead us into secure attachment, most of us are in the anxious or the avoidant or the mixed styles, and we have to work through these things. And so be patient with one another, be kind, be loving, be generous, be protective, protect others. Know yourself so you can communicate better with those that you love and want to be attached to. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge, but we can all get there. It's just a matter of being aware and caring. So those are my thoughts on this Wednesday morning. I hope you have a great day, and we'll talk again tomorrow.